Good morning, good day, good people. How you all doing out there? Just thinking about a situation a few years back when COVID had started. Reminding myself of how fortune always favors the bold. Fortune favors the bold. I was just thinking about we were laid out on COVID, so we were out of work for about 6 months, but my job was still paying us. So I decided I wanted to do something with that money that I was getting paid, and we were getting all kind of incentives and stuff like that. So we were in a fortunate position a few years back when a lot of other people were struggling. So we decided to take that money and invest it. My wife been telling me for many years that I needed to be more involved in the stock market and etc. And I just I always like to engage in analysis paralysis, and I might want to do research for 2, 3, 4, 5 months trying to figure things out before I decide whether or not I want to do it. But my wife showed me something. She showed me something that made me want to hop into it right away. And she showed me when she had bought a few years back, she had bought some just one share of GameStop and one share of GameStop and Nintendo stock. And what happened, one of them we bought and we lost about $30 or $40 on, and the other one we gained about $50 on. I can't remember which one it is. I think Nintendo appreciated by like $50 or so, something like that, from when we bought it. And I was like, man, if I'd have been listening a long time ago and became active, then this would not have been a problem. We could have went ahead and made a whole lot more money just based off of sound investments. That doesn't mean that you should not do any type of research. You should definitely do research on anything that you plan on investing in. But if you plan on being fortunate, then you're going to have to go ahead and put yourself out there and do things. So for instance, when she showed me that, I opened up the TD Ameritrade, I logged into the TD Ameritrade account because she already had it. I logged into it and I started putting money in right away. And then I would research something and I put money in right away. So I would research, hey man, looks like American Airlines, looks like all their stocks are going down. So everybody's pulling out of this because, nobody was traveling. So I said, okay, well, this is what I'm going to put all my money in until it's time to go back to work or until they increase. So I was buying American Airlines shares at like $6, $7, $8 a share at that point, putting $100, $200, $300 in there every week, every other week. So we would do that with American Airlines. We would do that with various other airlines. We did that with some of the cruise companies. We did that with, what else did we do it with? We did that with several companies, and it was just things that we would see here and there that we would say, hey, that makes sense. This makes sense. Yeah, they make sense that their stock price is going to be down because nobody's there at the moment. Like, I think we invested in like Dave & Buster's and stuff like that. But eventually, as time went on, about 2-3 months started going on, all those stocks started to rise back up. When some of the mandates started to lift, the airline stock started rising back up. And I sold out of those around I think I bought American Airlines around like $6, $7, $8. Those were around when I bought it. And we sold it for over double. We sold all of that for over double. And it's just because we decided to go ahead and take action instead of just listening, instead of reading books, instead of doing all the research all the time. You don't have to research everything to death to the point where you're inactive. Being active is the most important part. Learning from your mistakes is the second most important part, if you ask me. So we would have never achieved that if it were not for that. You have to get out there and you have to go do something. That's what's most important. That's an example of how fortune has favored the bold in my lifestyle or in my life. If it weren't for getting out there and trying something new, then I never would have got those gains that we got back, and they were hefty. And we did the same thing. I think it was the year after that. Yeah, because we was back at work already. So it was we went back to work around June-ish, somewhere in there. And then and if I would have really been thinking, and I was more fortunate when when Dogecoin started coming around. I started hearing about that probably in November or December, and they were much lower than when I got in January. But right after I got in January, the thing skyrocketed. It went to the moon, as some people be saying. But either way, it's because I got in there and got active. I made thousands of dollars off of all of that. It would not have happened if I would not have put myself out there. As fortune only favors people who actually get up and go do something. Peace. Go be great.